Hello, well, good afternoon, and welcome to BBRC Britain and English. Well, shortly, I'm going to talk to you about the apostrophe rule, something often confused even by native English speakers. I'd like to first show you examples of the standard alphabet used in Britain and many parts of Europe predominantly, and also there's the uppercase and lowercase, and also other parts of the world where English and other languages using it is spoken, but also underneath standard numerals there we are, 0 to 9, used in many parts of the world with a few variations, especially in continental Europe. Now, as I mentioned, I will talk about the apostrophe. Now, I've got a few examples on a board here, but I will just go through the rules and when it's used. There's three main rules. One of them mainly is possessive. Now, we would say Paul's hat. Then we would put an apostrophe in after the L before the S. So it's Paul, P-A-U-L, apostrophe S. And that's possession. A singular possession. And it's in a possessive noun. You also use it where letters are omitted or left out, that means. So we would use it, for example, very commonly used in everyday written language is don't and do not. For example, we would say don't instead of do not. We would put the apostrophe after the N before the T in don't. I've also got examples of that on the board here. Other similar words here, we've got doesn't. These are all contraction words. Doesn't, don't, and didn't. There we are. And also, it's also used if the possession ends with an S. There we are. And you can add an apostrophe further S and an apostrophe again. So, for example, I'll show you what I mean there. Paul's hat. Sarah smokes. These are nouns. Now you've got the apostrophe there, as I say, but also Sarah smokes, you've got the apostrophe after the E and before the S. Although the other use is Chris, for example, Chris or Chris. Chris or Chris's. So we would say Chris's car, for example, and you can say, well, write down Chris apostrophe S, that's Chris apostrophe S, or instead of that, as an alternative, you can write Chris and then an apostrophe. Not regularly used, I should say, but often confused as well. Now, another one which I tell you about while I'm at the board here. I've noticed from some of my African friends in other places, sometimes it gets confused. The word I'm and I am. I apostrophe M, short for I am. You don't write am on its own at the start of the sentence. It's always going to be I'm or I am in place of it. There's also it's apostrophe. So it's it apostrophe s. It is. Or you can use it without the apostrophe, which would be it's not in its box without the apostrophe, like I say. Don't forget that. That's the rule. Not in its box. So there's another way of using it. I'll just say further uses. Examples here. Places which can be confusing, even to native speakers, as I say. Places ending in an S. Example here, Cleethorpes is a place up north. Proper usage would be the apostrophe S. For example, Cleethorpes' finest hotel. So you put the apostrophe there. Of course, we do have a lot of American and Africans in the country, and some of the uses are confused, and sometimes, as with other British English, it gets confused with Americanisms, and sometimes we do use the same words as you'd expect, but some things are changed, as with example of that would be pavement and sidewalk. There's two words, one used in America, one used in Britain. And there's lots of influences throughout the media. Now, another thing, pronoun. Well, that's different to a noun. Takes place of a noun, actually. Example for that would be he, she, it, they, he. Or who, I beg pardon. Pronoun can do all things of a noun. Can be subjects, direct subjects, indirect objects, object of the preposition, and more. So there's another example there of a pronoun, and all this I would say look up and get a good English textbook, or of course there may be material online, but do be careful not to confuse it with other material which may be American sourced, and of course it's slightly different to what you'd get in England. But I will say the apostrophe rule is exactly the same in Britain and America. There we are. So just a few notes just for clarity on that. It's a jigsaw, so you could say about its box, so e.g. example of that, one of the its rules for the apostrophe would be not using the apostrophe. Jigsaw puzzle, that's not in its box. And contraction words, it is or it has. You could say it's a lovely day, it's been a lovely day. And certainly you can see where those sentences come together there. Well, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this short session. I will try and add some more material, and next time, well, I can say I've already prepared information about euphemisms, proverbs, cliches, etc. perhaps used in everyday English which you've not heard about, certainly in everyday spoken language. And there'll be other information about different accents as well, and certainly there's lots of accents throughout the country between Scotland, London. Lots of you come to Scotland, come to London, then you go to Scotland at times. Some people come and they don't actually spend enough time in London to start with, so they always want to come back. But certainly well worth listening to, hopefully. And it's accents and grammar and different ways of using word use, and we will talk about that next time. Thanks for watching, and I hope it was helpful.